Okay. All right, we'll bring the meeting to order. There's no minutes to approve, so we'll go past that. Everybody had a chance to look at the agenda. Yes, we have a motion on acceptance.
So moved.
We have a second.
Aye.
You can't vote. We have a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Let's move on. We'll take the matter of 5 Amelia Drive first about the trees. And Doherty's here to speak for Remain. So, Ann, why don't you?
Well, we're coming to the end of the construction. We bought the building a couple of years ago from Keepers, and we're really proud of the work that we've done. We sort of brought I think the original sort of intent and look of the building back. It's about to open in September. It's going to be open year round. The porch, the screened-in porch is beautiful, and that is open to the public at any time of the year. We've got nice furniture in there for if people want to grab a sandwich and sit in there. We're just looking at sort of finishing touches for the building. We are going to put a sort of a wildflower pollinator garden along the front there. I think we've got maybe 3 feet from the sidewalk to the front of the building. Julie Wood is going to take care of that for us. It's just a nice combination of inkberries and black-eyed Susans and some native flowering plants. We're going to clean up the area. The Cape Cod Bank has a parking lot there, and you can kind of see it in the first picture in the distance. They don't really tend too much to that grassy area between the road and the sidewalk and their parking lot. So we're gonna clean that up for them, just kind of maintain that. And we took a hard look at the trees and identified them. I think they're Bradford pears.
Yes.
They're just pretty misshapen. The far one in particular, the one on the right, is pretty misshapen. That one is a little bit misshapen, and we just thought it would be a good opportunity to given their sort of their history of being a little bit on the dirty side. Also trees that can tend to, when they get big enough, they get top heavy and they can split. We were just asking respectfully if the tree committee would consider allowing us to replace both of them, so that they sort of match up. The trees along Amelia, they tend to sort of go in sort of groups, like you'll have 3 or 4 cherries and then 2 or 3 maples, as opposed to being intentionally 1 tree or just 2 trees. There's sort of little groups along the way. I mean, yeah, that one's the one that's pretty misshapen. So we just putting a request in to ask if we could purchase and pay for the install of 2 new trees there. There's another picture I included, which is the view just across the street, and I just think these maples are beautiful.
Speaking of maple, I don't want maples on the sidewalk.
Okay.
Got all the trees we want. We don't want red maples.
Okay.
So
Surface rooted. I mean, you show a picture of
the bumpy sidewalk.
right.
Yeah.
that's just from the maple trees. It just don't.
They do a number on the sidewalk.
I mean, there's a lot of other trees that we can.
Yeah, we're not advocating for any particular type of tree but just looking to replace both of them so they're sort of new and fresh and healthy and they match. And I thought the trees across the street just had a nice healthy look to them. Not misshapen, just a nice shape and offering lots of shade. Just using that as an example.
The only thing I would go with as far as dealing with a patch tree is the liability of a patch tree in sidewalks. If there was one in the backyard, maybe that one is pretty healthy, but it is very, very crotch heavy. I don't want to advocate for removing a tree that didn't have such issues as this will potentially have.
It doesn't at the present time, correct?
No, but over time, I mean, I can probably, I mean, I don't know if you can even prune enough to.
Yeah, I mean, I agree, you know, but I think because it's a healthy tree.
That's what,
I don't think we can, in all fairness to other things we've done, allow the removal
Of a healthy tree,
without a formal hearing.
Oh, okay.
So,
So can I get a little background? I know Amelia Drive was a development. Did the town require these as part of the development? The town didn't pay to plant them.
well,
right,
Well-
the town required when it was subdivided, they required.
they require trees to be planted on the street and we took them over afterwards.
Okay,
Right.
when the town took the road?
Right.
Yes, when we took the road, we took,
Which has been in
we,
the last 3 or 4 years. I
yes,
guess, Right?
yes,
Well,
yes,
Okay.
at least 4 years.
So I would just jump in for a moment and say that trees are not decorator element. They don't have to look identical
that
to each
one-
other and,
Yeah.
you know, but if there are health issues, that's one thing. You know, I'm not saying that these have to stay or anything like that, but I would be wary of, you know, arguments that they just don't look the way you want them to. And I won't say nice or not nice, but I'd have to go look at the trees. I didn't realize this was on the agenda.
Well, it's not an official hearing. It's just
This is
It's
just
a public comment.
Public discussion.
Okay.
Yeah. discussion. Yeah,
So let me jump in with my point. The reason the trees on the opposite side of the street provide shade is because they were planted 30 years ago. You're not going to get that effect for another 30 years if you take the trees that are there out and put new ones in. And that's always a big part of my concern,
Yeah.
is that, you know, I hope someday it's a famous statement. We'll never have 100-year-old trees if we keep removing 30-year.
Mhm.
Yeah, so that, you know, I'm open to, you know, full evaluation of their condition and their future and the potential replacements, and that all weighs into the decision, but, you know, I don't like taking healthy trees out.
I'm gonna go on record saying one tree I have no issue with.
the other one.
Been removed. I have no issue with that tree.
Have you removed that?
No, it was on my list to do.
Okay,
We was
I
trying to get
I
it.
have no problem with that.
That-
It was in
is that
really
the one
bad
on-
shape.
Yes, it's the one on this side.
Yeah.
Closest to open.
Yes, it's the one on this side. I have no issue with that. It's just like I spoke with Julie the other day, we have to, as a community, we have to be careful
That's it.
the reason of taking trees.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
And in this case, the liability is a lot greater than the asset.
That's my argument,
You know what I mean?
that given the type of tree this is, they tend to get top heavy and they tend to split over time.
Okay.
So if we wanna wait till that,
We don't necessarily have to wait to that. I can do some work and then thin that out, to make it a little bit safer. That one I would rather not even touch. I would rather just give it up and let you guys put in another tree that I suggest. And Julie and I, we're gonna come up with a plan of what we're gonna do, but that one I can work on to clean it up, thin it out a little bit, to take some weight out of it.
okay,
You know what I mean? It is a healthy tree. That's the big thing. Is that I don't wanna open up a can of worms.
The other
taking
one,
out-
the other one.
Taking on the healthy trees. It's not necessarily a perfect tree, but it's a healthy tree.
okay,
So
And that's what we have to keep in mind.
sure.
I caught something else you said that I thought was really interesting. The empty lot, I think it's Nantucket Bank that owns it next door. You said you're going to maintain that for them? Is that an official arrangement? or-
No, not at all. We'd like to approach them and offer to clean it up a little bit because they're not doing it.
So just a one-time? Or,
We haven't had that conversation yet,
but do we know, are there trees on that lot? Or are there opportunities for trees?
Is there any trees on
Not
there?
every,
There's one, not,
They're oak,
they got the fastigious oaks in the sidewalk.
well, that's in front of the bank, but in front of that parking lot. I'm not talking about.
No, that's no,
No,
no, that's
there's-
There's nothing there.
There's
there's
no,
an
it's a hedge. They kind of cleared,
Oh,
they had cleared that lot out to make basically make a free parking lot
Yeah.
and try to ease some of the street parking there.
yeah.
And then they, you know.
Okay, eliminate
The bank
street
owns that.
The bank owns
The
that.
Rockland Trust owns it.
I believe so.
So what you might do is in your conversation with the bank, suggest that there are opportunities to additionally plant trees there. And I think speaking for myself, getting more than one back for one being removed makes it a more attractive prospect.
That's a good idea, because there is really nothing after this tree. There's really nothing until you get to the other side of the entrance to the parking lot.
Correct, if it's digital.
Yeah,
So that would give an opportunity to plant, maybe a different kind, leave that one there. I think, does anybody have any issues about removing the other one?
If there's one that's not healthy and Dale's already considering,
Yeah.
that's Dale's decision.
Yeah,
It's not a-
I'm on board
That's-
with this,
Yeah.
with this tree, and we can work on that other tree to take
Yeah.
some weight out and make it a little bit more attractive and shape it a little bit better.
it offers a lot of nice shade, which is great. That'll, that's an attractive feature for sure. And are we meant to cover the cost of having it removed and a new?
That's the choice you guys gonna make now. The only problem is if I come in and take it down, I don't know when we gonna get to the stump. So it'll be a stump sitting there until we figure out the contract, and I don't know what the status on that is.
Still working.
So if I do take it down, and unless y'all get somebody to do the stump and then going back with the replant.
Okay, so the town taking out the tree doesn't include the stump?
Because we don't have a stump ground and
Oh.
everything is done by contract. And we're working on,
The town, they'll take the tree down. If you're in a rush to put something back if you replant, you have to hire somebody. At
Would
this
that be
point,
like-
until we get our stump removal
Oh.
contract sorted out.
Oh, got it. And that would be like a Bartlett's or something like that?
no, Bartley's don't do stumps. There's a couple of guys out there.
Sam, right?
Sam.
Yard guard.
Yeah, Guard,
Oh, we know.
Chad,
Julie works.
Yeah.
And green tree.
Green Tree, yep.
Yep.
Paul's still doing stumps.
Yeah, Paul's still doing stuff.
Yes, Paul's still doing stumps.
I
Okay.
talked to Paul.
Okay.
Yep, it's still back operated and
Yeah.
everything.
So you think that the tree that's closest to Old South is unhealthy enough that it should be taken down? Or, I mean, I don't want to force an issue. If you
There's no
really think
issue
they're
to be
healthy
forced
and they're
here.
fine.
There's no issue to be forced. That tree was on the list to be removed last year. I just never got there because I can't ever set up there. There's no place for me to set up.
Yeah, yeah.
So, I would have to block off half that road for me to set up to even get in there
We'll have to schedule that probably to do a partial road closure.
or
And
something.
then have NPD mark the other side of the road with no parking, so that they'll be able to set up on half the road that the
Yeah.
tree's on. And then block all that parking on the other side so people can still have.
So there's a process because there's so many cars parking in that area. It's just a process that we have to go through.
So does the town maintains all the trees on Amelia? Is
Yes,
that-
again, I don't get in there because of my truck in the
Yeah,
parking area. I did them,
It's awkward.
I did every one of them 5 years ago. Even the two pear trees, I did them all 5 years ago.
Okay.
So, and it's usually, I usually do what you call a 5-year pruning, so I shouldn't have to go back in about 5 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're in
Breeze fire.
they're in good shape. Okay, Emily or Ben, any comments?
No, I was just gonna say, that the one on the left-hand side, as pictured, looks like a healthy tree. The other one, I've seen that a number of times, and I would say that probably has been slated for removal. It's a good choice to remove and replace. I don't think it has to match, I don't think it has to be a Bradford. So I would rely on Dale's expertise or the committee's expertise to choose something that would be appropriate, maybe not interfere so much with the sidewalk.
Yeah, and I guess I would also agree with that. I've appreciated this conversation and certainly Dale's input on the tree that should probably be removed at this point in time. And I definitely appreciate and like Mary's idea of considering whether there's an opportunity a little farther down to add even another tree to that area because there's not a whole lot of shade on the rest of that street. So I think that sounds like a good plan. Is this something that would still need to go before the tree committee for a hearing or?
Usually when a tree becomes such a liability, we just try to go and get it to try to protect the public. You know what I mean? It's just instead of going through all the process, I let Dave know we get it in the books of why it need to come down. And then if we was removing a healthy one, then we would have to go through the committee. But when it come a liability, it's time to go in and get it done and to keep everybody safe.
I think the hearing is for the public request the removal of a town tree, but if the town decides to remove a town tree on its own, that's not a hearing situation.
Great. And then I think my only follow-up question would be for the tree that is on the left-hand side, that's in better shape to remain at the moment. Is there a point at which that could also become a liability and need some work or be considered to be taken down? Is that just something that Dale will keep his eye on, or?
If we keep it thin now, it got a less chance of becoming a liability compared to having it a stick, because they hold their leaves pretty much all winter. And if we can create a situation where we can get air circulation through the tree, I think we can make that tree last a lot longer.
Okay.
Every tree has a lifespan and we never know what it's going to be. So I don't personally like the approach of, well, in the future, it could be a liability, because that's an unknown. You know, everything in the future, your car or your children, they're all potentially a liability if you want to, be extreme about it.
Are pear trees that the town considers now to replace existing trees, or have you guys?
I won't
are you
plant-
We
looking
don't
at-
plant pears.
I won't plant pears, even the columnar ones, these Chanticleer and the Cleveland Select.
You're moving away. from
Yes,
it.
I'm moving away from it.
Okay.
I only have one in town right now. One or two, Scotty.
Couple.
But we're moving away from pear trees.
That one's still in front of Common and Gold.
Yes. There's no weight in it. I got that thing so thin, man. It's just,
Yeah.
there's no weight in it, so.
But again, an existing tree is always decades ahead of a new tree in terms of its value to the community.
Yeah,
Now, in terms of
I'm
replacement,
sure there are different, calibers that you can buy, new trees to
now, in terms of replacement trees,
gain a little time.
you indicated it's an ironwood, not ironweed.
Yeah.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
sorry.
That's an American hornbeam. But a linden would be good, like a silver linden.
Silver linden would be good.
I think that would be quite a nice tree.
If you can find a high branch. linden.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's the big thing, is linden use tendency to be a little shorter.
but honey locust or a plane tree is definitely a good one. And
Honey locusts are nice, they're across the street, I
Yep,
eat
yep.
fish.
but
They're pretty.
an elm would be a nice.
But elm was always nice.
Yeah.
And
Because there are no elms on the street, so it might be
An elm is always on top of my
to
list.
maybe get an elm there and maybe a couple more elms.
Yeah.
Down the line for the parking area would be nice.
Okay. And again, how does that work? So in time, you would remove the tree that you think is failing. And then we would pay for somebody to grind the stump, and then we would purchase the tree, and then we would pay the town to install it, or I'm just curious about the mechanics of it.
I think it would, if you want it done, yeah, I mean, it'd be easier, you hire somebody to do it.
Town-wise.
And we'll take over the
maintenance of it.
Oh, okay,
Time-wise, it's just not gonna work for me, because if things are starting to slow down, there's a lot of things that gotta get caught up on, so I'm
Yeah, yeah.
behind.
Yeah, so the reason you would want to be financially involved is to speed the process up.
Yeah.
It would still be a town tree, it would still be subject to.
Well, once you plant a tree in the town sidewalk, you've given up rights to it anyway.
and does that include, doing it ourselves, does that include, picking the type of tree, or do we defer to you?
We would defer to me of what we think, because it's going to become a town tree, and
Got it.
like some people like maple, I just don't like red maple.
Well, they're service rooted in that.
Sure.
Or cherry, no cherry.
And then the removal, is that something that's on the town, or is that something?
Yes, I would get in,
Okay.
I'll give it a
So we sort of take over after. it's
But the catch is me getting in there and getting that lot park. because-
No rush at all, I know you've got a lot going on.
I would, Dale should take it down. Because it is.
So, I mean,
I was just curious, that was.
we'll do a joint venture if that works, and I take it down, you guys finish it out from that point.
Yep.
Because for me to do it, trying to wait on our town contract, there's no telling how long it's going to be. So you have empty space that we could have just.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't want to see any, if it's a town tree, I don't want to see anybody else taking it down unless it's.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I just wanted to be clear on the procedure.
Well, I'll work with Dale, we'll try to get something scheduled, so we'll have to do a partial road closure. And then we'll be in contact, but when we get that scheduled.
Yeah, do you want to wait until it's like,
Yeah, it should be done.
Well, right now you may fall into that time to do plantings anyway.
So probably, by the time we get through permitting stuff, probably, mid-September.
okay, no rush at all.
Okay, good.
Great, thank you very much.
All right.
Appreciate it.
Thank you for coming in.
Thanks.
Thanks for hearing me.
Thank you both.
Okay, next on the agenda is 39 Cooper Farm Road. That's all come to a good conclusion. The money has been, Emily, are you up to speed on that at all? On the 39?
I think for the most part, I was at the select board hearing about it and had read some of the documents, and I did see the letter that was in, maybe it was on the agenda from last time. So I think I'm mostly,
I thought there was gonna be some, Jim's letter back about it, Jim Weeman's letter back about it. It seemed like there was gonna be some pushback, but it ended up being resolved. So the 14,000 has been deposited in the account at circulating ranges. We're gonna press ahead with that.
Yes.
This fall. Eddie Chacon, who is a neighbor there, is going to do the planting. Because Paul, when they built the two houses on Fourth Way, they had removed some trees, some things that Paul had planted.
There was a beautiful little elm there.
Right. So
But not a town.
it wasn't a town.
No.
It wasn't a town tree. So Eddie lives in back here, and of course, as you well know, he's a landscaper, and he had contributed to doing that planting. So the agreement was that Jim would pay to replant. So they're also gonna replant an elm, I think, there.
So they're gonna do the 2 tree plantings?
He's gonna do everything and work with Surfing Hydrangea.
Okay.
Surfing Hydrangea is handling the whole project.
Okay.
From here on.
We on page, what elms we gonna put there?
New Harmony.
New Harmony.
I already talked to Craig.
Okay.
So we're on board to do that this fall. He's pretty sure he can get a 5 to 6 inch tree, 2 trees.
Okay.
And I whatever Jim wants to spend on the other tree, that's something that's on him. So anyway, we resolved it. I'm happy. I've staked.
Yeah, so stakes, yeah,
Stake-
they work out
stake
perfect.
locations.
They work out perfect.
So the stake should still be there. Just have a look next time you're up that way and have a look and we'll move on. Any questions?
Actually gonna be gone.
Okay.
Do something.
All right, Scotty. See ya.
I didn't have nothing.
See ya.
Good one, Scott.
Yeah, all right. I didn't bring my agenda. What else? What's next on the agenda?
GIS.
Okay, GIS. And I guess we're starting to move forward on that. Emily, you've been involved in this from the beginning. So I guess Worcester Poly is about to embark on phase 2 with this. And you've been in contact with them as well?
I have not, no, not directly. I've just sort of been hearing about it on the side, but I haven't spoken with anyone.
This project will be run through the DPW.
Okay.
So Drew and myself will be the main contacts on it. We had about 5 of you all this on there as contacts. We kind of narrowed it down to 2 of us. But so we have submitted a scope with them. We've been accepted and going through the works. They'll be doing inventory mapping and analysis, providing locations, species, DVH, height, conditions, providing an environmental value along with a monetary value for each tree, and then working with the GIS team to create an actual GIS layer that is accurate. to our town trees.
And this will be for trees that were not already surveyed 6 years ago?
Some of them will be, there might be a little bit overlap to make sure we get everything.
They're
Now,
not gonna start on Main Street downtown again. We've
No,
already done it.
well, it'll be some, because some of those trees are not missing. So we want to have it up to date and accurate. We're also, we're trying to look at what was done, with Will.
Yeah.
years ago. So we gotta kind of get them the data.
Yeah.
The whole
Yeah,
stuff.
so okay, they'll have that data. to
Yeah,
start with.
yeah. And then there'll be, I've got a whole list from the, what we assume, from the 400 tags that they'll have up outside of the downtown area. And we've got locations of
So
those.
the list of the 1996 elm plantings, is that on the list for this group? Would it be great to have that?
Yeah, we can include it.
All the trees that are still standing will be put on that list.
Great,
I will,
and I have an update for you on one.
and I will be tagging Hooper Farm Road starting tomorrow.
okay, so they're gonna be collecting the data. But now how about collating data and getting it onto the town website?
That's all part of it too, that we work with the GIS team.
They'll be doing that.
Yeah, oh yeah, they'll be collecting
Okay.
the actual locations and then working with the GIS specialist. That's all written in there. Create an accurate tree
Now,
layer.
is there any financial burden on the town on this, or is it the town contributing to this? Are they doing this?
That aspect, I'm not 100% sure on.
Okay.
I'll have to talk to Drew about that. I don't know if
Yeah.
that's part of the grant, the program.
Now, would the land council be interested, I mean, in helping out with this whole thing, Emily, or?
Well, I'm sure if there's a specific aspect of the project that needs some support, definitely I'd be happy to talk about what we can do. And I assume that, I mean, I know one of the areas that had not been completed previously were the town trees on private property, which has obviously been a little bit of an issue here and there for folks. So I assume, is that also going to be a priority for wrapping this up, is to get as many of those?
Yeah, as many as I can. I'm probably gonna do 100 trees tomorrow.
So it's just, yeah, as fast as I can get the tree tags printed, Dale's working on getting them up and starting in the areas that are not the obvious trees like downtown.
Speaking, of, do we have a tag, do we, that the 10, what is it? Not Dover, but, Petrulis project. 10,
That Catalpa,
yeah,
that's on the list
okay,
for
make
tomorrow.
sure that was just, that property was just sold. So
That's on the list for tomorrow.
And then, Charlie, I presume that maybe you guys have the equipment that you need, but if it would be helpful to borrow our handheld GIS unit that Vince and Will had previously used when the crew's actually out here doing the work, let me know, or just reach out if there's anything else.
Yeah, absolutely. We started to talk about that briefly, Drew and I. So we'll have to talk to the students to see what the best way is. I mean, nowadays, your cell phone can when you take a picture, captures all that image as well.
Mhm.
So I think part of this is also going to be to get them to photo document all these trees. So in that photo documentation, we'll have the GIS coordinates.
Be off by some number of feet.
Hopefully it'll be pretty close enough that we'll know.
But I'm just thinking though, if you're a property owner and you look at a GIS coordinate, you say, oh, that's not on my property. Not realizing that the tree that coordinate represents is 100 feet away and on your property, that's too big a margin of error.
Yeah.
We really need to get the GIS of the trunk. Not just.
Yeah, I mean, we're starting to talk through possibilities. I can also walk right up to it
don't
Yeah.
forget about that.
and get the thing. Historic coordinates.
No, at 10.
Yes, the keep in the backyard.
Go in the backyard, make sure that gets one. He's on record as saying that, yes, that's a town.
He knew that was,
Okay,
yes.
fine. Make sure we get that. That's speaking of something that's off, kind of
Of the beaten path.
off the beaten path.
Yes.
So,
But I know that our unit does have pretty darn good accuracy. So Charlie, as you guys figure that out, I can always let you know what that is and shoot you a note on what we have and if that is better resolution than you guys have or you want to use it.
If Emily has the exact same piece of equipment that Will used before,
It is. Mhm.
So we wouldn't have two different sets.
Yeah, I'm just not sure what they're, if they're
But-
bringing
but
their own
when
their own
you saw-
equipment. But
Yeah,
as we get the team out here, we'll get that sorted out.
Perfect.
What do, manpower wise, what do we have to provide them with anything?
Just follow me to follow, just to kind of.
Yeah, and hopefully we'll have the list of all the
Yep.
tags that Dale gets up, which would be a
Yep.
good start, and then if they somehow manage to exhaust that list faster than we continue to put them up, we'll just have to, you know, maybe there's a day where Dale goes out and they do an area that's not, you know, the tag and record at once.
Good. Onward.
Yes,
Now, speaking of trees, Emily, you've got, you have that tree tour in town.
Mhm.
Did you know there's a Franklinia along, is a Franklinia on your tree tour?
No, well, at least we don't talk about it. I don't think RJ points that out, but we should add it.
I got talking to Jim Cook, I don't know, 2 or 3 weeks ago, because he was injecting my beaches.
Mhm.
uh, that's the next topic I want to talk about.
we
But
got something
anyway,
on the table.
we got talking about Franklinias, and he says, oh yeah, there's a couple of them here. And there's one on Traders Lane in back of 88, I think it's 88 Main Street on that side. And it should be in flower right now. And it's not a very big tree, but it's a multi-stem thing that's kind of behind a fence, but it's right on the street. So in fact, actually after the meeting, we can take a ride by there and see if, because it's almost like finding dogwoods out here. It doesn't like salt air all that much. And, so that would be a real interesting one to, because you can see it from the street. You can walk right up Traders Lane and it's right there. So,
I will definitely go take a look.
yep. Like I said, it should be in flower, and it just looks like a very kind of run-of-the-mill shrub if it's not in flower. So anyway, that's just an aside. Now, getting, what else we got?
That should be stump grounding.
Okay, and you already said that's up.
Yeah, I
Stump
believe
grinding.
you see it finalized the select board. I believe they sorted out the issues they had. And so just with the summer schedule, select board.
So that's
that should
moving
move forward. The next contract will be.
Now, beech leaf disease, let's talk about that. Jim Cook, again, sent me the info on that. And essentially what they use, and I might be wrong, Ben, but did you get the same email?
Didn't, although I haven't read it all yet. Go ahead, tell us what you know.
But essentially
Potassium,
it's Arbortech.
is that tech?
It's Arbortech.
No way.
It's Arbortech. Arbortech is, it can be a fungus, it can be a fungicide application, or it can be this. I mean, I got the information someplace. Do you still have it on file, Ben, or do you have it on your phone?
I wonder if I can share it, but let's see.
Because that's something, you know, if we have a couple of beaches, correct?
Yes.
And plus we have the beaches out the
Oh,
on Milestone
Milestone
Road
Road.
that are definitely worth protecting. And that one in front of Lily, what used to be Hardee's,
Yes,
is definitely one that and the one in front of
Monday, yes, by the tree.
Yeah.
okay, so for the benefit of those who've never heard that term, Arbotech, ARBOTECT, industry standard fungicide for the prevention of Dutch elm disease,
Rainbow.
suppression of sycamore anthracnose, and protection against beech leaf disease.
Okay, there we go.
Why don't I forward this to all of you? I can share the screen if you want, but probably better if I just forward.
It says, send it to Charlie and let him.
Yeah, just send it to me and then I'll distribute. But
All right.
So I thought that was quite interesting.
Yes,
Do you still have Arbortech?
No.
It's probably, you could get it though.
I can get on.
How about the apparatus? Do you still have that?
That's a Sigmund conversation. they decided to do a cleanup one day and not talk to me. They
Yeah,
threw
yeah.
all that equipment away.
Now, you were doing, no, that was,
No, I did architect. I stopped using Alamo.
okay,
And I did architect.
okay. But with the hoses and everything else.
55 gallon drum in the pump.
Yeah.
They threw it all away.
Yep. Yep.
Batteries and all.
Yep.
Tubes and all.
We ought to,
I haven't followed up with them about it, but does anyone know what the Conservation Foundation is doing, if anything, with theirs out in Squam?
I talked to Karen Beatty and, they can't do anything because I think it's, because of the chemicals.
Mhm.
So they're hoping that the research finds something, but I think we're gonna lose.
The one on Red's property.
They're taking care of the raised property, but that's not conservation.
That's land.
Okay, okay, I
That's
understand.
land bank. That they're taking care of.
Okay.
But as far as the ones in Squam and,
Mascota. Mhm.
I think it's, I was driving by, I was up on the cliff, yesterday, and there's a whole line on, Ben, that customer that we did the planting for a few years back, right on Grant Avenue, what was their name?
Grant Avenue. Remind me where Grant Avenue is.
It's, anyway, if you're coming from Lincoln Circle, coming down Grant Avenue, you can't go any further. And you have to take a right.
The road.
Yeah. On Moore's Lane or Moore's Ave.
Yeah, I can't, maybe that's what.
Moore's Ave, yeah, right on the corner.
And there's a line of copper beaches.
Correct. Oh, yeah, that's not Moore's Ave, it's the next one, next one east, but yeah.
But there's one dead right in that looks like it just died in the middle of this whole planting, so.
Oh, really interesting. Well,
Worried about, getting into town,
how about the beaches out at Reyes Pond? Or
Apparently, Jim, Bartlett's been in touch with the land bank about that, so I think if they haven't. figured it out, send me your agenda.
And then there's the European beach out front too, right?
Where?
Right as you come in on the left,
At Reyes.
at Reyes, yeah.
Yeah, they're gonna take care of all of them.
Yeah, good, okay.
But I don't know what,
Yeah,
Good.
well, we'll see. I mean, it sounds like Jim's pretty at least confident that there is a tree. So that's good.
That'd be great.
all right, we got anything else?
Yeah, of course I do.
Okay, good.
Almost never fail to come without you. So I was talking to Vince Murphy from the Natural Resources Department earlier this week, so we missed the agenda cutoff. He wants to write a brief news item for the town's August newsletter about trees and their benefits, in helping with the climate. And it's also, since it will come out at the end of August, it will be timely for Climate Change Awareness Month, which is September. So he wanted to know if the Tree Advisory Committee would like to be named as sort of a co-author of that piece, and if we had things that we wanted to contribute to it. It's a very light piece, and it's not not an in-depth investigation or anything like that. It's just something, help raise awareness to people who subscribe to that newsletter that the town plants trees and here's the benefits and that kind of thing. So he sent me a draft, and I didn't send it on to Charlie because I was supposed to edit it first. Sorry. So I don't have that done yet. But if the Tree Advisory Committee would like to authorize me to do that with Vince, I think that might be the best way to go forward.
All right, I think, do we have a motion on approving that request?
Yeah, so moved. I think that sounds like a great idea, Mary.
Okay, second, yes. Move,
Well,
move along.
let's get an
Of course we want you to do it.
Emma, do you run tree tours in the fall through the land council?
I think our last one is maybe, we might have one in September, actually. That might be the last one.
Your website, you can look it up there. Or?
Yeah, yeah, and I could give you the date because that might be something you could throw in.
Happy to do that if there's one.
Okay, great. I will look that up.
And one last thing, we've got a request, well, there's a letter, but there's no formal request for a tree removal hearing for 18 Back Street. This has been an ongoing thing. It's a Chinese elm that's got a big lean in it, but it's had a big lean in it ever since I moved here in '78. So I don't think it's going anywhere. And the tree it makes a statement on that corner, and I think everybody should
Take a look at it.
take a look at it
Before the next meeting.
before the next meeting.
Is it on top or below on Orange or Pleasant?
It's right off of Pleasant, right by near the barber shop.
Yeah.
It's on the right-hand side as you make the corner going down Back Street.
Okay, yeah.
You know, it's got a pronounced lean, it's over the house. But,
I took
yeah, you did roof clearance on
a
that.
couple of $1,000 away that the
Yeah,
other day.
yeah.
I mean, last year.
You're right, right. So, but I haven't heard back from the owner.
It's a second.
Did you say a street number for back or?
I believe.
There has not been a formal request yet. As soon as if they make a formal
Okay,
request, a formal letter, then we will let you all know.
okay,
We'll have to go out and post, notice on the tree about it, and then do a public notice in the newspaper that there is a tree hearing, and then when we get that scheduled, we'll let everyone know the date of that hearing.
Yeah, I advised her of the owner of.
Have you spoken to her?
Particulars.
Have you spoken to her?
No, I emailed her.
Okay.
And I CC'd Charlie and I CC'd Vanessa on it, so everybody. And
Oh,
then-
so it's this one.
Yeah.
All right, so Charlie's telling me it's not the one on the corner, but the next one in,
Right,
it's
Bill?
leaning
It's
toward the
the
house.
second one in?
Yeah.
Or it's the one on the corner?
This I would say is on the corner and that one. So, but it's the one leaning towards the house that they're concerned about?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, because you could be confused because the one on the corner is leaning out over the road.
The stem is when the tree is straight up. So the stem come out, because I'm taking all that weight off that front side.
Yeah.
Which,
It's this one right here.
this one.
The big, but not this one,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
Asian one right there.
Yeah.
Okay, you get a better view of it.
Yeah.
Now, see this whole section has been taken out.
Okay, yeah, these are older pictures.
Yes, that whole section is gone right
Okay.
there.
So I'm on Google Maps at 72 Lower Pleasant Street on the corner with Back Street. And if you look around a little bit, there's some good photos. But they're older photos, and Dale was just pointing out that some of the material in the tree has been removed.
Yes, I've removed it last winter.
Okay,
Maybe.
anything else? Anybody have anything?
No.
So
Mary?
I incorporated the notes that you gave me at the last meeting into my tree website. So Emily, are you aware I have a Town Trees website up? And
oh,
it's
no,
for the purpose of documenting the 1996 elm planting, which is near and dear to my heart. And so Dale had given us a list of the planting locations.
Mhm.
And so I went out and I took pictures of the trees that were or were not at those locations, and they're up on the website. And the impetus for this was we've lost several of them. And, these are my 30-year-old trees that want to become 100-year-old trees.
right,
So I'm trying to, document what we have now And my thought is that we should reach out to all the property owners. They're all on private property. They were planted with the permission of the owner in 1996.
Mhm.
Almost every single property has changed hands in the last 30 years. So we should reach out to those new owners and remind them that this tree exists and it's special and it's protected by status as a town tree. The intent of this mass planting that we did was to create a future canopy for the Mid-Island area, similar to the canopy that we have in town.
Mhm.
So we planted a whole bunch of elms.
And where the water closet is, all those trees, right as you come around the corner, are all those trees. There's a bunch
Parkside
going
Park
down
Street,
Hooper Farm
yeah.
Road, there's,
Those two, every tree and another guy's tree. That is no longer in there.
yeah, I know.
Everything else is just.
Yeah. And the ones in front of the Sea Grill, the big one in front of the Sea Grill. I mean,
What's the latest on the Rhinomo's property? I see that there's still a for sale sign out there.
I have
Memorialized.
I have got no feedback from the Rainbows at all.
Right. But where are we on sort of memorializing that language that says that decision does not carry over with a new owner with a sale?
Like,
What's that?
I think that's been said.
Well, the first step was to reach out to them with a registered letter.
Okay,
So at this point, we'll have to figure out the follow-up.
okay, but the
Yeah,
selectmen
I'll-
at some point should be notified about this.
Yeah.
So, it sounds like they're not interested in responding.
And we'll be in which
They
case-
signed for it, right?
Yeah.
Let's go sign for
If
it.
it registered, they
Yeah,
have.
it's registered. So it may, I'll have to look into how some of those things were handled in the past. It may be that we end up putting a lien on the property for the agreed upon amount.
Yeah.
And that would tie up any sale. It'd
Yeah,
have to be
or
satisfied.
they formally agreed
Right.
that's no longer
It
enforced.
may be we don't get a response until they receive the letter that a lien has been placed on the property.
Well, we've got to move because once the property changes hands, the opportunity to put a lien on it gets a lot more difficult.
Right.
So,
Yeah, I'll work on it.
yeah, let's, yeah, we gotta get this resolved. I don't think he's gonna sell a lot that, it's,
But that price.
it's not, is that what are they asking for?
Awesome.
2 million?
For an empty lot.
And he
tiny lot.
bought it for less than,
Yeah.
I think they picked it up for like 650 or something like that. So, and it was a deal when he bought it too.
Mhm.
Okay,
Well, Mary, I'm really happy to hear that you're trying to highlight that 96 planting, and I think I've heard maybe you or others make this point a couple of times today, but as far as that article about trees and climate change, you obviously are more than capable of writing about trees and climate change, but I think that notion of trying to preserve the shade of our 100-year trees and taking them down and, what we're left with for the next 30 to 50 years while we wait when weather might be warming, and just the importance of that shade would be a great thing to work into that.
Thanks.
on an ending note, I think it was Daybreak Nantucket, they had the Folger Memorial, when it was built, when it was installed for the Franklin Folger Memorial on Mattocket Road. I don't know if anybody saw it, but to the left on the photo is that elm. And so I'd like to find out when that was, because it'll give us an idea how old that elm is.
Okay.
But there it is, the elm's right there.
Little thing.
Little sapling. It's a great picture.
Do you know what date that was?
That's what that's
No,
what,
no, the day that the newsletter came out with the picture, because I don't.
Today.
Today, okay.
I think it was dated, because it wouldn't be the current today anyway.
Yeah, and I haven't seen it, so it's probably.
It was something to celebrate the historical associations.
There you
Yeah, see that, and that elm is still there, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Same here.
covered with vines, but it's still there. All right, okay, good.
This will be a motion to adjourn.
Yes, do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Motion to-
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
See you next time.
Guys,
Thank
Thanks,
Oh.
guys.
thank you for making some serious headway.